To amendments 5, 6 and 7, but unfortunately, Minister, this is a bit like playing handball against a haystack, because I don't believe you are going to change your mind on any of these amendments. And I think what you have done, and what you've done in the previous vote in terms of the block amendment, is you have made your TDs, the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael TDs, in all of these counties impacted, and in Mayo, you're making them do something they know is absolutely wrong. And to talk to these amendments, 100% redress is 100%. It is not any more and it's not any less. It's just what it takes to make up for the lack of legislation, the failures by government. It's not any failure of the homeowners, as we have said many times here. It is the abject failure of government that we need 100% redress. And what people cannot understand, there's no explanation. We've never been given an explanation as to why we in Mayo and in other counties along the Western Seaboard are treated differently than the wraparound scheme that was in Dublin. Now, if somebody gave us a rationale for it and said, right, this is the way it is, this is the way it has to be, then, you know, we could look at that. And you see the amendments that we're making here tonight and that we've put forward, and I think everybody here across the board have put forward amendments in good faith to improve the scheme, to make the scheme fit for purpose. But I remember when we sat down with the very original scheme and we submitted all of the points, which were included these points, we wanted to save the government money. And our bottom line was we wanted to ensure that nobody would be locked out of the scheme because they couldn't afford to get into it. And this is by rejecting amendment number 5 here, you would be continuing to lock people who can't afford to get into the scheme out of the scheme, because the gaps we're talking about is 40, 50, 60, 100,000 plus. That is an awful lot of money. That is absolutely crucifying people, and not only crucifying the people who are the mortgage holders now, but I can see it that their children will be paying back for the huge gaps that are there. And when we look then at amendment number 6, what we're asking for here is the end-to-end remediation scheme for all those impacted by defective concrete blocks, as I said. To add insult to injury as well, like you have the concrete block, you have the levy put on to the products, and then you're charging VAT on top of the levy. So there's actually the levy, and then there's the VAT on the levy. Like, you just couldn't make this up. It is totally, totally wrong. And then I just want to go to the issue of retrospective payments. It's many years now since I went to the house in Ballycastle, where they absolutely, at the time, we didn't even really know what was happening, where the house was completely fallen down. And I said to those people, they had to rebuild it. And I said to them, the couple who had saved all of their lives, I said to them, like, yes, something has to be done with this house. The county council, the local authority cannot help you out. But I am sure that when a scheme is put in place, that if you keep all the receipts, keep everything properly, that it can be thoroughly audited, that you would not be excluded from the scheme. And if you are going to refuse amendment number 7, that is what you will be doing. You will be saying to those couple, no, there's nothing for you here. And even though you did nothing wrong and you've done everything right and everything fit for audit purpose, you are still excluded. And they are neighbours to your TDs in Mayo. They know them, they know their faces, they know them as families. And that's what you're asking them to do here tonight, Minister. I am totally dismayed. If there was somebody standing up here and they were trying to be obstructive or trying to get in the way of what needed to be done, I would ignore that. But that is not happening. We are also not only looking to protect homeowners and to have fair play for homeowners, we're looking to save the state millions. Because what you're doing here tonight in not accepting these amendments is you are costing the state millions. Millions. and that will come back to haunt you and to the people who are involved in doing this.
Deputy